Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm really happy to see you all. I think it's the 4th year that I've been speaking to you in the Web3 Festival. And, this year, I think with the Joseph and FS and also, Eric sharing with you all the newest or the latest development in the government. I guess I can skip some part of it in my sharings, but I think we are all in line in the message that we want to deliver, that what Hong Kong is delivering is a steady, progressive development. This is, I think, actually government, LegCo, stakeholders, everyone agree that would be the very positive attitude that we have in Hong Kong. And to share with you what I want to go into with the next 15 minutes, I think I should actually look back because this is the 4th year and I've been sharing with you for the last 3 years. And I actually did some research and looked back into what I share in the last 3 years in the Web3 Festival. And we're looking at the last 3 years journey, as Eric mentioned. We all gone through that journey together since 2022 when Financial Secretary announced the statement on Web3 developments and support from the government. We have done 3 Web3 festivals, and during that time, every year there were progress with the free SP licensing regime, and then we have tried out different products that FS also mentioned just now, the tokenized various bonds to different products now with the tokenized deposit, etc. That we've gone through many product testings in Hong Kong. And then with last year's Web3 Festival, we have gone through the Policy Statement 2.0. And also, Eric has elaborated on the Aspire roadmap from SFC and also from the Hong Kong MA. What it means, we look at it as the regulatory clarity and regulatory alignment between the separation of duty between different government regulatory body. And that actually lays a clear roadmap for everyone in the industry that who you have to talk to when you want to issue products in Hong Kong. I think this is really important. I come to that in the end, that clarity is one thing we have to provide to the industry for anyone involved in the industry that want to issue products, that want to be involved, that building a startup, building up a project. Clarity is the number one thing that we need. So I'm not going to go through that. We have that on screen for like 10 minutes from Eric, and he has shared with you all the things that progress at SFC. That actually, I have to come back again, is the roadmap of what the Hong Kong regulators are providing. And of course, we cannot miss the Hong Kong MA start, which the T represent tokenizations, and we all understand that the stablecoin has been issued 2 weeks ago, and that is also one of the roadmap and progressive roadmap that we are providing. And as the bill chairman last year in the stablecoin, I have to say that in the regulatory side and the legislation side, we work together closely, but Web3 is a global market. So every time when we go through the legislation side, what I do is we have to look into what other part of the world is doing. We have to look in the jurisdictions in other countries in what they're doing. And definitely, US is one of the major market that moving the Web3 regulations forwards. So let's say in last year's debate in the stablecoin bill in LegCo, I have to keep very close attention to the Genius bill in the US, which was actually going through the whole process at the same time in the US side. So what the SEC and the CFTC is doing in the US, I think, is significant to the whole market. And this is also something that we have to pay attention to. And we understand that in the last year, there has been a lot of announcement in the US side, right? So there are the Project Crypto, you have the Clarity Act, and the Genius Act, as I mentioned, in the US that go through the stablecoin legislation was passed around the same time in Hong Kong. And then they have the OCC grants, which allow the banks to actually allow the banks access to cryptos. And the Parity Act that was in the end of 2025. And I have to go into one document that was issued last month in the US, which is the SEC and the CFTC joint statement. I think that was quite significant for the industry because it clearly lays out what is security and what is not under the security regime in the US. And I think that's a very useful document and something that most other countries can consider. So what it lays out as a summary is these four things on the left are not classified as securities, are not classified under the security laws in the US. So digital commodities, digital collectibles, digital tools, and of course the payment stablecoin under Genius Act. I think we also provide some similarity in clarity of classifications under Eric's SFC regime he just mentioned just now. So product classification is really important for us to lay foundation for the market to develop. Because when you issue a product, you want to know whether you're regulated under a certain regime, and you want to know who you have to talk to for the product licensing. So these are actually provide some clarity in the US regime, and the SEC and CFTC collaboration is, you don't see that a lot in the US. But I want to also mention some very interesting points as the safe harbor proposal that was listed in the document. I think this is also something, for us to put further thoughts, because with the safe harbor proposal, it actually allows sort of like the crowdfunding exemption that we have before. When you have the crowdfunding exemption before, it allows certain exemption for you to do certain thing. So when you have the startup exemption and the fundraising exemption, it allows some certain amount of capital you can raise through tokenization and through crypto issuance. So it allows up to $5 million US around that suggestions for startup exemptions. But I'm not here to promote for the US regime. I'm here to compare it to Hong Kong, So we all understand with all these things that the US has pushed forward. One important bill is the Clarity Act. And we're friends here from the US. We're going to share later on the progress of these. And it's supposed to pass through in end of April, right? So we're going to keep observing what's going to happen there. It may get through, and I heard from some friend it may not, right? So if it doesn't get through, then it will be pushed until the very end of 2027. And, that will delay a lot of the legislation side in the US. And right now we have no clarity of also the midterm election in the US and, what that will lead to. So, we see that, in writing the bill, I have to give credit to the departments in the US. I think they have written a very good bill. But the political situation will not give clarity sometime to the development of the market. So what we want in the market is steady, transparency, and continuity. So if you want to compare, I want to say that this is what Hong Kong is doing. We do it steady in terms of product classification, legislations, and infrastructure, all the things that we laid out is a steady, progressive build-up that we have in Hong Kong, where some other part of the world, you might have disruption from the political situation. You may not have continuity in the regulatory regime. You will have some progressive move in some term, and then you may see reverse in a different term. So, I'll let you think about it, whether, have a progressive, steady regime is better, or, when you have something that will support you in 4 years, and then you take a reverse in another 4 years. So which is a better regime? This is the thing I want to come up with, and let friends have your thought, on which one you will support. And what we're going to move forward, I think, from my point of view, basically 3 areas, we have to work on further. Participant, product, legislation. It also coincides with Aspire or the DARTs, whatsoever. This is how you classify. So my second part of my sharing is focused on these 3 areas: participant, product, legislation. I quickly go through, some of the market happenings in Hong Kong and elsewhere. So the tokenization classification, this is really important. So we have to understand, as I mentioned, the document from the SEC and CFTC, the main purpose of that is classification. What is security, what is not. who you have to talk to, right? So this is really important. We have the classification. What product you are doing, and any product you have to go to SFC, and anything you don't have to go to SFC. So this is really important. We have that classification of products. I'll skip through that. And we have, market participants. They keep trying on issuing these new products and, getting the regulatory clarity, like HashKey's, the on-chain issuance of the silverback RWA tokens. And then we have HSBC. They issued a roadmap of, how they do tokenization for their clients. So how do they classify this tokenization and the distribution and selling of these products under one systems. And then, the tokenization, this is the, what people expect in the coming years to go. What item can be tokenized, and by different sector, things that we can tokenize. So this is, research by BCG and Ripple. And of course, product side, I mentioned participants, right? So we have banks and FIs in Hong Kong that move the product to different participants or investors. So CA Bank also tried, push crypto for products with KYC under-regulated to retail customers in Hong Kong. And then we have, Franklin Templeton doing the tokenized funds in Hong Kong. So these are all the products that, we are trying. And, with these products, different FI, they are also selling them to different participants and investors. And of course, I don't want to mention that. We just have the 2 stablecoin issues, which is also testing on new products. I suppose there will be new products. We will keep innovating in Hong Kong, and regulator will work with the companies to come up with new products that will be issued in Hong Kong. And, this is the stablecoin growth forecast. I will skip that with time's concerned. So as I mentioned, the regulatory framework is also important to clarify the products and, clarify the duty of the regulators. So as Eric mentioned, there will be the VA dealing, there will be the VA custody, and there will be management and advisory. There will be, more regimes coming, but this is all working hand in hand with the industry to provide clarity to the users and investors. So what are the key challenges? We have gone through many cycles in crypto and related products. We have products that getting quite a lot of traction, but then, they fail or, they lost the interest from the market. Things like, meme coins, and ornaments, and, we have disputes on layer 2, which is very hot in the market 1-2 years back. I think many speakers will talk about that later in the festival. And also, people are having doubts on the DAT model, right? On the, when Bitcoin was growing, when the crypto was growing, we come up with new innovation or business model. DAT is one of those. And now, on the down cycle, how will DAT, work towards a different cycle? So, we are all going through all these things. We have innovations and market adoption, and then we have to go through different cycle, and we have to test the products, whether they have a market. So I think strategy is going through ups and downs currently. So whether DAT is a proven model, we need more time to look into it. One challenge, right? And we need more innovation in new products. Next challenge is, I think a lot of people are talking about this, quantum, and whether there will be a threat to crypto or crypto-related products. I actually done a visit to most of the quantum researchers in Hong Kong and some in mainland China. If you ask me, I think we're at least 5 years away. But if we're working on this, on the cryptography side, I think this is something we'll have to put some thought into, if this is going to happen in 5 to 10 years. So what the industry will respond to the crypto development. We're talking about 500,000 qubits, but most of the computing now is only 100 to 1,000 qubits. So we're still away from quantum, doing that. But we have these Google research report, which stir a lot of discussions in the market. because it says that, with the quantum development, it will break through the Bitcoin algorithm, because that will take around 10 minutes, and quantum can go through all the cryptography in 9 minutes. So things like that. But we are still there to see whether that will happen. I think there are still a few years away before that will actually threaten the industries or the crypto market. And the challenges we also have is whether we have common infrastructure and common regulatory regime. Because like in Hong Kong, like in the US, many countries, they are going through their own regulatory system. They're going through their own legislations. And whether they are comparability and whether they are comparable and they can talk to each other, and the product issue in one jurisdiction, whether they can be traded in different jurisdictions, how do you have these as a global market? This is also one thing that, from some of the people that suggest are things we have to deal with, to have a common infrastructure and, a bridge between different jurisdictions and different regime, because no one wants to just sell product in one country. You want it to be connected to different parts of the world. So this is also one challenge that we have. And this is the flywheel that we want to see. That is, when you have a complete infrastructure, when you have clarity in the market, when you have connectivity between jurisdictions, and then you issue products, you get investors. Investors come in, they prosper from the investments that they have, and then more product will come out. And this is like a positive flywheel that we want to see in Hong Kong. We have the regime, and then we will have the connectivity with different market. You will have to issue new products. And products, if you hit the right one, you get market traction, people come into the market, and you recycle into other innovators coming into the market. So this is the positive flywheel that we want to see here. So final thoughts, things that we have to do next. I personally think, more products into the market, more clear definitions of the regulatory regime of these products. How does it get approved? The process of it being approved. Market participants, who can buy what, right? I think we have already started work on that, on the classification of products for professional investors and retail investors. And how do we deal with technology innovations? As I mentioned, quantum and new products and new innovations, how they get adopted by the market. So we also need developers in Hong Kong. We need to get more tech developers in Hong Kong. I've been reinitiating that for the last 3-4 years. So basically, this is what my sum up for the last 3 years feelings on these festival and what my view on the future for development of Web3 in Hong Kong. Thank you.